All right, guys. So after reading a lot of books, and by the way, this is just literally like 10% of my collection. After reading a lot of books, here are the 5 books that taught me the biggest lesson that stuck to me, right? Now, I really want to make a video for 10 books, but the video is going to be long itself. I don't want to make these videos too longer than 15 minutes just because it's gonna be hard for me to post them on YouTube. So I'm gonna make this video as short as possible. But starting with number 1, Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell, right? In this book, it literally talks about strategy. So this book is not gonna be that valuable to you, or you're not gonna find it that valuable unless you're a business owner or you're an entrepreneur stepping into entrepreneurship, all right? And there's a lot of lessons that you learn in that book. You're gonna learn how to basically outsource a lot of different tasks, free up your time as a business owner that has system. It teaches you how to build systems as a business owner to remove yourself from actually running your business and having people that come run your business for you. It talks about principles such as you are the only one that can do something 100% as good as you think you are good at it, right? You are the only person that think you are 100% good at something. So in order for you to be able to free up your time, it teaches you strategies to go about outsourcing or leveraging other people's time that has 80% of the 100% that you can offer to your business, right? Don't let that go over your head. And it talks about a lot of other principles, but that specifically stuck to me. And the strategy that he goes about actually applying that and like enrolling people into his business is what I learned from it, right? I'm not gonna go too in depth with that because I want to go to the second book, which is The 12-Week Year by Morgan Linnington, right? I don't know how to say his name well. Got a little accent, but in this book, it talks about how you can literally achieve your yearly goal in 12 weeks, 3 months, right? And it's a strategy that I have attempted before, and I honestly achieved my goals. I'm not gonna say I achieved my yearly goal in a short period of time, but I achieved a goal that would have been harder for me to achieve throughout the year because I gave myself a longer time, right? In this book, he talks about people are more likely to drag on goals that take longer to reach than goals that are short for you to reach. Because if you had, let's say you wanted to run a marathon, right? If you had 1 year to prepare for a marathon, the average person is not going to start preparing for that marathon until the last month. But if you had a month to prepare for a marathon, you're going to start running literally from the next day or the same day that you were told that you're going to be running a marathon, right? So, because like majority of the people are going to do that from the time that they were told, hey, look, you got a marathon to run. Some people are still going to take that last week to prepare for the marathon, which is why you shorten the goal even shorter. Be like, okay, you got this big goal and you want to achieve it in a short period of time, and you know what you need to do to achieve that goal, right? And you know you need to do it at volume, at scale, aggressively to achieve that goal. Hope this is still recording. So when you finally do achieve the goal, my bad, guys. So somebody just called me. My phone was just ringing. I don't know if it's still recording. Yeah, my bad. Somebody was calling me, but yeah. Basically what I was saying is, when you have such a short time frame to achieve a goal, you're going to go aggressive. You're going to do everything aggressive towards achieving that goal, right? And even if you didn't run a marathon completely within a span of 3 days preparation or 5 days preparation, you're going to run that marathon halfway. You're going to, you can run that marathon the following week. Why? Because let's say you had 3 days to practice or to prep running for a marathon, and the marathon is in 5 days. You're gonna want to immediately start running, right? Start getting your respiratory system up to date, your stamina up to date with being able to finish a marathon, right? So even if you end up running 15 miles, you did over half a marathon, right? You achieved like what, 55% of your goal. So now you can come back, and if they told you, hey, look, you did amazing, you can come back and achieve that goal within the next week, because why? You only had 5 days to prepare. So same thing goes to business. If you tell yourself, hey, I want to make $100,000 in a year, you're not gonna start working towards that 100,000. You're going to like procrastinate working towards getting to that $100,000 till like the last 3 months or last 4 or 5 months, right, before you achieve that. But if you tell yourself, I want to make $100,000 in a month, and you know what you need to do, you have the actionable daily steps you need to take to make that 100,000, you're going to do it, right? If you even say in a week, you're going to do it, right? If you have a proven system that requires actionable steps for you to get there, because why? You want to run a marathon, right? What do you need to do to get to run the marathon? All right, you need to run, you got to run 5 miles in the morning, 10 miles in the evening, right? 5 miles in the morning, 10 miles in the evening, consistently for 5 days. And the day before, you run half a marathon, and the day of the marathon, you run a full marathon. That's it. That's a system, actionable steps that require for you to get there. But I don't want to talk too much about this book, but yeah, it's a 12-week year. I took off the cover, the first page, the cover, like the little cover that goes in the book. But go check this book out. It's very important. And then the third book here is The Power of Discipline by Daniel Walter. This book right here is honestly the most important book anybody, like if you're watching this video, I want you to like skip all these other books and read this book first. This book right here is going to set the foundation for every other thing that you do in your life, because it's going to teach you what discipline really means, and how to use self-control and mental toughness to achieve your goals, right? That's literally what it says on the cover, right? So yeah, so it's gonna teach you it's gonna teach you why some people aren't disciplined, and how to make discipline become a personality instead of being disciplined. Because discipline is only needed in the transformation phase, because once you transform your identity, and you're operating in a different person's identity, now you achieve your goals even faster. Because why? You don't have to be struggling discipline. I'll give you an example, right? Somebody who is trying to stop smoking weed, right? It takes, or stop drinking alcohol. It takes discipline and repetition, right, to constantly not do that thing as time goes on, as many days go on. If you went from drinking alcohol like 3, 4, 5, or let's say every day, right, and you completely stopped, you told yourself, I'm not the person who I'm going to do this, and you stop, you don't ever do it, you don't drink ever again. Moving forward, it's gonna be hard. After your first week, you're gonna want to relapse so bad. But if you hang in there, you strong, you just keep going. That's literally all it takes. After you pass the second week, it's gonna get even harder. The third week is gonna get even harder. You're gonna feel so much pressure. You're gonna want to quit. But if you hang in there, you're disciplined enough to not listen to yourself. You hang in there. You get past the third week, things is gonna be a lot lighter on you. You're still gonna have those urges to want to go back to that old identity. But if you hang in there, fourth week, right, it's gonna those urges are gonna even drop some more, right? Then the fifth week, you're not even gonna, you are completely transformed. It literally takes 21 to 31 days for you to completely transform your identity by doing repetition of the same thing every day. Then it eventually becomes your identity. It's not you don't require discipline to not do what you used to do on a daily basis. So this book talks about multiple different scenarios and gives real life examples to why how you can literally leverage discipline and become and change your identity or get to the next point in life that you're trying to get right now. The fourth book, I'm gonna have to go with The Psychology of Money. Now, the reason why I say this book specifically is because, speaking from experience, I literally have made hundreds of thousands, actually 7 figures. I've made a lot of money in my my whole career of entrepreneurship, but I've lost majority of that money because why? The foundation of money was not in, right? When you don't come from money and you all of a sudden start to make a lot of money because you did a lot of work, you did something that end up working, you made a lot of money. And if you don't come from money, right, you're gonna want to have people know that you made all this money, right? If you were in if the black, folks in the back, you guys understand what I'm talking about, right? So I did a lot of splurging, spending, doing a lot of shopping, traveling, which all those things I don't regret it, right? I don't regret none of the money decisions I've done in the past. Honestly, if anything, I'm grateful I made them so young, right, so early, because now I understand. And after reading this book, understanding myself and how I impulsively act, I can stop those from happening again in the future. And this book will teach you everything you need to know about money. And yeah, so I'm not gonna go too long talking about this book. And I'm literally contemplating if I want to put, which book should I go for next? Because I got a lot of books right here on my desk, right? There's another book right here that I really want to maybe talk about. Not this one. Where is it at? Give me 1 second, guys. Yep, here it goes. Here it goes. Now, this book, I just started reading it. As y'all can see, I just got this book too. So I learned a lot of stuff from it. Now, the title of this book is The Almanac of Naval Ravikant, right? I don't know how to pronounce it. You guys can see it's something out of the ordinary. You probably haven't seen a book like this before. In this book, it teaches you how to get rich without getting lucky, right? Now, that's what the subtitle of the book is, but the actual title of the book is what I just read or try to read, right? So, this book, I've learned a lot of different things. In here, it talks about this guy. Now, this book is by Eric Georgeson, but the person is talking about is Naval, right? His name is Naval Ravikant, right? It talks about how he was basically a guy who migrated from India to the United States, with his family and stuff like that, and how he was raised by a single mom, and he eventually was able to he eventually started and exited multiple businesses worth multiple $100 million, right? And his entire story and how he teaches you about money is unlike any book I've ever read that explains how to actually make money, right? The system is required for you to make money, the leverage systems that is required. This book, I believe, was wrote in like 2018, but all the things that they talk about in this book is stuff that you can they're actionable things. And that's why this book was recommended to me, and I was like, hey, let me just check it out. And so far, I'm like 63 pages in, and it's honestly, I would say, like, I've learned a lot of things from this book. I was gonna go with either this book or Atomic Habits. Atomic Habits is very similar to the other book that I talked about, Discipline, The Power of Discipline, but it talks about how you can build daily habits and you can get 1% better, 37% better by the end of the year. For instance, stacking up habits, right? Let's say, for instance, everyone, given that you brush your teeth every day, you probably have stacked up 30. You get 37% better, or 30. You're probably stagnant brushing your teeth, because unless you get better over time as you get older, then yeah, you get 1% better. at doing that thing every day. Me personally, I'm gonna give you guys an example. Since November, December, I've been doing 500 push-ups every day. Every day I do 500 push-ups. I get 1% better at doing push-ups, right? I've been creating content for the last almost 4 years. February is gonna make it 4 years. Every day I create content, I become 1% better, right, at creating content. So this book talks about different principles that you can apply to stack a positive habit. The same way that you stacked up negative habit is the same things you can do to stack positive habit, and which will counter the negative habits that you currently have in your life, right? It literally just talks about changing identities. That's literally what it talks about, but it goes even further. Just teach you how to build good habits and break bad ones. But with that being said, that's it about this video. It's a little over 15 minutes. Hope you learned something from it. Like, comment, subscribe, and as always, I'll see you at the top because the bottom is way too crowded. Peace.